can't tell who it is that we be. It's the ALMOROC, stepping up in the place ambassadorially. 2 on the right, in the middle is me. Got 5 on the left, to the ground is 3. Those who have the eyes can clearly see that.
What?
It's the Moors for sure, and you
Can't
touch the shores unless you
down.
do a treaty with us, and we entreat that you trust and respect our boundaries and our legacies. Can't get the best of me with the strongest mental telepathy. Phone book, fiat, fantasy, or recipes. Wisdom and supreme mathematics is protecting me.
5 on the left, 2 on the right. S on my chest, about to take flight. Signal of distress, something don't seem right. I'm trying to find a phone booth, but none in sight. Trying to get the whole truth, but it's a fight. Drew Ali told you, but still despite, renew the old you. You'll be alright, you'll be alright, you'll be alright.
I get knowledge I got. My mind spray a lot for my Al-Maroc. Lyrics cryptic, Al-Moroccan mystic. Use rhymes at times, enlighten a dimwit. When Al-Moroccans flow, you drown trying to swim with. Hang rappers by laces, they tie their Timbs with. This ain't that fruity rap, we catch him in booby traps, coughing up a lung cause my fam got hung.
5 on the left, 2 on the right. S on my chest, about to take flight. Signal of distress, something don't seem right. I'm trying to find a phone booth, but none in sight. Trying to get the whole truth, but it's a fight. Drew Ali told you, but still despite, renew the old you. You'll be alright, you'll be alright, you'll be alright.
We are the ancient, returned on mics and beats, on ancestral realms and streets. Words sound power, shower, watering minds with jade lines and amethyst rhymes. Tiger eyes glow, scimitar showing crystal reflections for added protections. 5 on the left, 2 on the right, lyrical bread and fish fed through the mic.
I tip your scales with vibrational levels. With this, man, sever your tempo. Moving, living backwards, spamming in pebbles. People trying to survive, call us criminals. Why did my first eye surrounded by devils? Wanna try and infiltrate inside my mentals, but ministry of propaganda and the scandals. Be the fucking rascal, camouflage charcoal, heavy rotisserie, heavy arsenal.
5 on the left, 2 on the right. S on my chest, about to take flight. Signal of distress, something don't seem right. I'm trying to find a phone booth, but none in sight. Trying to get the whole truth, but it's a fight. Drew Ali told you, but still despite, renew the old you. You'll be alright, you'll be alright, you'll be alright.
Check it. Knew from the first day that I met her. Thirsty in the worst way, wanted to get her. Open like a ladder, I'm open, not to stress her. No pressure, but I wanna lay her out like a stretcher. Knew she couldn't handle 16, so I hit her with 8 first to give her a taste first. Cat and mouse game, yeah, she gave up the chase first. So I booked the room and I laid her down face first. She liked the kinky, so I spit on her. Wanted to keep it to myself, she wanted other dudes to get on her. I tried my best to put a hit on her, but she fell in love with crap rap. All they do is shit on her. Thought I knew her well, but wait a second. Knew her well before she ever even made a record. She's a thot now, so I gotta pay to check it. But I'm still digging mommy like a crate of records.
5 on the left, 2 on the right. S on my chest, about to take flight. Signal of distress, something don't seem right. I'm trying to find a phone booth, but none in sight. Trying to get the whole truth, but it's a fight. Drew Ali told you, but still despite, renew the old you. You'll be alright, you'll be alright, you'll be alright.
All right, welcome back to Urban X TV. We have the Black Dot in the building.
Peace, peace, family, peace.
You have a lot to talk about today.
Yes.
We usually save some of our topics for the Urban X podcast, which we'll be on today. But this was a topic that had a lot of layers to it. We didn't want it to eat the entire show up, so Dad said he wanted to, have an extensive breakdown for our viewers right now. So
absolutely. I just felt it was important
that the Bill Cosby situation deserved enough time. And these are just my humble opinions on a deep layered situation. And I've heard Blue Pill did an excellent piece. I thought Zaza Ali going at Amber Rose did an excellent piece. I thought Griff was insightful and did an excellent piece. I didn't get to see all of Young Pharaoh's piece, but I'm pretty sure he went in on some critical details. So this is just the Black Dot's version, and we can't look at this as a right or wrong situation because we lose. It's too complex, there's too many layers to it, and it literally will eat up our entire podcast. And that's not what our podcast is about. It's about trying to cover weekly events or things that we feel are important to our community. So we will go in on the podcast, but I do clearly recommend that you watch this first.
Okay, so the other day, Bill Cosby was sentenced to 3 to 10 years.
Right.
For a case that happened, for a situation that happened in 2005.
Yeah, 14 years ago,
14
2004.
years ago. And a lot of people, including myself, the image of him getting taken away in handcuffs, like, it bothered me. And I couldn't explain, I couldn't really put my finger on why. Mm-hmm. And you called me during the week and you had a lot to say about it, so let's get into it. So initially, what did you feel about the entire situation as it turned back up years later after the fact?
Yeah, first and foremost, I like to give a disclaimer and say, if you are going to be very emotional, I'm always preaching about you have to remove your emotions from these type of situations, because when we emote a energy, in our feelings, all of the facts and all of what actual happened can get lost in the sauce. And then later on, when you revisit it, you go, yeah, I was in my feelings and I missed over certain critical points. So in order to understand what Black Dot is going to have to say, you're going to have to go through a distillation process and distill from an emotional state back down to it in a state of common sense and intelligence, because emotions can trump your intelligence, so to speak. So I want to be clear that if you are still in an emotional state, do not watch this. Allow this to be something you watch later on. And I say that because we have been split down the middle. I have 85% of my women, and I'm just throwing numbers out there, on one side of the case because they're dealing with trauma. And then we have 85% of our brothers on another side because they're dealing with a different set of trauma. And what I mean by that is most of our women in our community have been sexually abused, verbally abused, physically abused in some capacity. So when they see a case of this magnitude being brought up, it conjures up their own emotional, even though Bill didn't rape you, it conjures up emotions that let them take a stand that I don't care how old he is or when that happened, he shouldn't have did that. And that's true. And then on the other side of the equation, you have our brothers saying shit like, well, Harvey Weinstein and this one didn't go to jail, and because they're dealing with a different set of traumatic circumstances of injustice, and they're equating the Bill Cosby shit to just justice all across the board as being fair. When we do that, sometimes what gets lost in the sauce is that there were probably victims. Right? Let's be clear on that. So if I rape 100 women and 3 or 4 white guys also rape 100 women, did I rape 100 women? But if your only concern is, well, these other white guys didn't receive the justice, or, they're letting them free, but they got on Black Dot, we are doubling down and we're dealing with a state of victim consciousness. And I speak about it all the time. Now, with that being said, this trauma that began for our women didn't start with just black men. Let's go back to slave quarters, when the slave master wanted to demonstrate the weakness of your man and rape you in front of your man, rape your children in front of your man, and then turn around and rape your man in front of you. so that it demoralizes him. This is not an excuse. I'm only trying to show you how deep this case is and what this is really about. Because this is not about rape. If it was about rape, this would be an open and shut case based on facts. This is not based on facts. If it was based on facts, Bill will be home in his house. We'll get to that in a second. All right? Then this permeated into them taking the biggest slave or the strongest slave and breeding him. And we have become victims of losing our total identity and becoming just cattle and property and acting accordingly based on slave master mentality and things of that nature. And now it has led us to a place where our women are against our men. And we have all been traumatized. All right. So we want to be clear. There is no, your traumatization is greater than mine. Take a deep breath real quick. Because in my comment section, I need you, if you are going to make a comment, try your best not to make an emotional filled comment, because it moves us from logic. And I want to hear your opinions on this. So if you are trolling or fuck you, this and that, it only demonstrates your level of, you know, the inability of you to articulate these facts and how you feel. So, and do not tell me my opinion is wrong. It's under the chair. My opinion is wrong. And then you're going to circumvent that with your opinion, because now we're talking opinions and it makes both of us look crazy. So if I do not get some facts right, please put them in the comment section, because I'm one, and if you've been watching this channel, I will respond. Thank you. I misunderstood that, or I did not get that point. But if you are going to give me your opinion and just say you're right because your opinion is better than mine, now you're fucking crazy. All right? So let's state that so that we don't get caught in that kind of shit. I want to say this. All right? Because I'm going to be looking down at my notes. Do I think Bill Cosby is guilty? Yes. However, do I think he's guilty in this case with this woman? Absolutely not. And when I say he is guilty, they all were guilty. I want to make this clear to you. This is going to be a tough conversation to have. That is a Hollywood thing. The rape culture in Hollywood was everywhere in the 60s, 70s, because there was nobody regulating Hollywood. So did Bill violate? He probably violated a few women, just looking based on principles alone. Now, stop. For those who are going to say, well, you wasn't in the room, that's the stupidest shit I ever heard. For that matter, none of us was in the room when any rape was ever committed. So we all out of bounds, right? You see how that sounds? So let's not say that. We have to use common sense. We have to use intuitive. We have to discern information. We have to look at it in its totality, okay? Before we start saying stupid shit like, well, you don't know because you wasn't in the room. That's true, but neither was, in 99% cases, nobody was in the room. It's his word versus hers, unless there is some physical evidence that suggests that a rape took place. Skin under her fingernails, his semen, all of those things are irrefutable that intercourse took place. Doesn't even suggest rape. We're talking intercourse and things of that nature. So in those cases, we have clear. We're talking some shit that happened with Bill 30 years ago, right? That somebody, they used the latest case that they could because they couldn't go back any further, so to speak. And there is no physical evidence. There is none. If we're using the court of law, see, this country is not about what you did, it's what you can get away with. Can we be clear? Can we be honest? If you're going to tell me shit like, and this is for my women, because they're going to say, well, if he committed a crime, he should. And that's true. America was built on crime. Every single aspect of this country is fucking criminal. Every aspect. And the ironic thing is you got judges who probably raped women, sodomized kids, took money under the table, and they judging you. This is a very wicked country we live in. Now, with that being said, I am one who is very sensitive to two things in particular. If you embezzling money and you can beat the IRS or you can go in and rob a bank, that shit ain't got nothing to do with me. That ain't none of my business. If you impede and violate women and children and even men, let's be clear with this, because more men are raped in this country than women. No, Dot, you didn't just say that. I'm gonna say it again. More men are raped in this country than women. Now, just by the sheer amount of men, white men in particular, who prefer boys. Y'all want to know why these priests are not going to jail? Because they didn't break any fucking laws.
Their laws.
Their laws. You understand my point? That's the code. They didn't break any of their laws. This is their culture. How long has Black Dot been preaching that? For the last 10 years. It is their way of life. So they always transfer the priest or move the priest or do something where, but they don't do no real jail time. I just saw a case of a man who raped and sodomized a 5-year-old kid and he got probation.
Yeah.
All right? So they're all on their code. All right? It is their culture. You have to grasp that. So many young boys are always violated and they don't count for the Me Too movement as much as you think they should. Prisons, that's a whole nother can of worms. Let's throw that in the equation as well. So we're dealing with, and just by sheer numbers of, there are 10 times as many white men in this country than there are black men. Black men are more likely to rape women because we like pussy. Can we be honest with each other? Can we be honest? Now, that doesn't suggest that black men aren't violating boys, because when you get hurt, you hurt people. Hurt people, hurt people. And now we're carrying out a culture that is not our own. All right? So let's be clear when we begin. I'm going to be all over the place as we discuss this Bill Cosby case. This lady, Constant, whatever her name is, the one that they making fun on, and saying she looked like a man and all that shit. She lied under oath at least 6 times. Her own friends testified against her that this bitch is a crook, right? She told another friend, jokingly, she's gonna get Bill for money. When she so-called was violated, she did not go to the police. And women, let me stop right there. I understand a lot of y'all feel that there is gonna be no justice, and you don't want to be victimized twice. I gotta be clear about this, because we have a lot of black women in our community who were violated, but all of them weren't violated. There are also a lot of women who lie, who deceive, who got caught in extramarital affairs, who decided to say she was raped, who got caught with a black guy, and decided to say, well, fuck it, I can't have my family know about this shit, so he was raped, who got caught lying about some dude who had a lot of money. Because if some Joe Smo had did some shit 30 years ago, can we be honest? Would all of these women be lining up? They're lining up because there's a payday at the end of it. Not all of them. I want to be clear. All right? This Hollywood culture shit is crazy. That casting couch is real. But that doesn't mean all of the women who came up through Hollywood thinking that they can rise through the ranks on the validity of their talent and skill level did not come across some shit where men use the casting couch, because power is power. All right? And men in position of power or women in position of power can use that how they see fit. Not to get my Spider-Man shit on, but you know what he said. What's that shit that they say in Spider-Man?
With great power comes great responsibility.
With great power comes great responsibility. No one is governed in Hollywood. Bill Cosby spent a lot of time up in Hugh Hefner's goddamn Playboy mansions. They all did. Hugh Hefner himself had underage girls working in there. Let's be clear. All right? This shit is extremely deep. So, not only that, with this specific woman, she decided, instead of going to the authorities, this is just in a deposition, she didn't run to a friend, and confide or authorities and say this is what happened. She went to the law offices. She went to law libraries so that she can find a way to put herself in position so that she can win a case. So listen, I'm all with women who have been victimized who decide not to say nothing and then come out 10 years later and tell their story for the first time.
Right. I mean, it happens a lot when people go to therapy. They repress a lot of memories.
Absolutely. They repress a lot, and then they finally get up the courage. But rarely do these women on their way to therapy, if they got therapy at all, decide to stop by the law library so that they can see how, and rarely do they begin to film their predators, not so that they can prove guilt to go to the police and say, ha ha, he admitted on tape that he violated me. I'm with all that shit too. Wear a wire, whatever. However you can convince the person who violated you, but not for the sake of using it in a deposition to put yourself in position. Now, the DA, the first DA, I forget his name. I think I wrote it down. Yeah, Bruce Castor. When he reviewed this one specific case, he was like, it ain't no case here. It's not enough. This is going to be an embarrassment, because he knew there were too many loopholes within what it is she was saying. So they dismissed that shit. But they brought it up and agreed to get Bill to come in on a deposition.
On the guys that he wouldn't be criminally charged.
On the guys that he would not be criminally violated or could be brought up against charges. And he agreed. He never agreed to drugging her, to raping her. He agreed to giving her some pills. Mm-hmm. He also never in his deposition ever admitted to giving anybody pills to rape them. I'm going to go back to the culture back then. When you want to know about the unknown, you study the known. Today, these girls are willingly popping mollies. You know what I'm saying? All of these kind of ecstasy pills for the sake of enhancing what? Their sexuality, their ability to have a good time. And a lot of them don't remember what happened. All right? But they do know. Some of them wake up and go, yeah, something fucking happened. All right? So back then it was Quaaludes. Quaaludes are these big ass pills. You couldn't slip them in somebody's drink if you fucking tried. So let's be clear with that when we start talking Quaaludes. And Quaaludes was the Molly of that day. There were never some secret. Now, Bill did get on one of them shows.
I think it was Letterman.
And speak about Spanish Fly and, you know, things of that nature. This is why I say I don't think Bill is totally innocent in the situation, but I'm only talking about this particular case, right? In this particular case, it's so goddamn raggedy. The DA Castor said, I ain't even fucking with this shit. But they got him to get through, and she got $3 million out the deal.
To seal it.
To seal it. It's closed. It's done. Then, that was just part one of the shit. She backdoored this shit and brought in that lady, that lawyer. I forget her name. You know who she is.
Celebrity lawyer.
When you see her, it's a wrap. And they brought all of these fucking women through the back door type shit and got them to come forward and say a whole bunch of shit. And they were able to dismiss at least 15 or 20 of them women immediately.
Yeah, public figures have public records.
Absolutely.
So they were saying that they were at like the Playboy Mansion with him when he wasn't even in the state.
Wasn't even in the fucking state.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of that shit got thrown right out. And it's my lawyer's job, if I'm accused of something, to find, shit on you.
Right.
And because to convict me, there has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, if you're going to tell me this lady going into the law libraries, getting caught under oath at least 6 times, maybe more, secretly taping him, you got your money, the shit is supposed to be sealed, and then you backdoor and create this whole scenario that something is not fishy, you're fucking bugging. These are just the facts. This is not me speaking from an emotional state. I have already stated I felt Bill did shit, but I thought they all did shit. You name them in that time when they were elevated, and Bill was elevated to a high status early. I Spy, he was amongst the elite. White people been doing that shit forever. You know what I mean? Right. So he was privy to some things, and, you know, got down with some things and did some things because there was nobody regulating Hollywood. That does not make it right. I'm just telling you what it is. So for every woman that came through Hollywood looking to make it on her merit, there were other women who didn't give a fuck how they got in the elite circles. They just wanted to be in the elite circles and be willing to do any and everything possible. Are you talking to somebody who's been on tour? And me and Tim Dog were only D-list rappers. And I've seen some things. I don't know how the fuck these chicks got in our room. You understand what I'm saying? Across the board, no rape involved, but still, we took advantage of situations. Rich people, if you worth $5-6 billion, and what are you supposed to do? You know, have one wife and raise my children and build my company. All that shit sounds great, but that's the same shit the nigga who working at Burger King is doing, right? And you feel you are elite for a reason. Can we be honest here? So you feel that you're privileged. You can have whoever you want, whenever you want. And there are those in Hollywood who clean all that shit up for you to make sure you go to special doctors, right? If you're pregnant and you want to get an abortion and you're a celebrity, or you go to special clinics to get your pills, there's a level above what it is that me and you deal with on a daily basis. All right? So let's be clear with that. These wet workers come through and they'll even body somebody if the price is right, or make sure somebody gets into an accident, or whatever the case may be. This happens all the time in Hollywood because it's a whole other world. All right? Now, I'm going to be all over the place, but I wanted to make that point. Again, I talked about, victim consciousness. What about this one? This is an attack against the black man. True. Doesn't negate the fact that he maybe violated some women along the way. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be very clear on how. Any questions?
Yeah, this entire situation, it was reminiscent of. I wasn't even alive when this was going on. The Clarence Thomas, Anita Hill situation. How it kind of just divided households.
Absolutely.
Like when I learned about it. Right.
Absolutely.
And it was the same thing happening. The same thing I was noticing on social media, Twitter. It was just black men versus black women, and the argument was exactly what you said. Was the men feeling like either all men don't do this, so stop lumping all men.
Absolutely.
Or these other people like Harvey Weinstein, they're doing it too. Why haven't they? And then the women who are right when they said you don't want to victim blame and you don't want to dismiss victims. What I had a problem with after the sentencing, though, it was weird. I felt like it was just giving people like free shots to take at Bill. And remember at the Amber Rose thing, I thought that was just
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Amber Rose can go suck a dick. I want to be clear with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. First of all, I like what Zaza Ali said. Who put you in position to say anything about our culture when you don't even identify with our culture?
Right.
Okay, and if you're identifying on just rape, how come you only talking about Bill Cosby? Okay, so if your disposition is rape, then get the litness of fucking people, go down the list with this shit. Right? And again, you have capitalized off some shit that is what we're fucking up our culture. You have made slut shit proper shit. Thoughts have emerged as an entity amongst themselves. So now, I don't know what your disposition is. Are you supporting thoughts can do what they want to do? And are you supporting that it's my body? And so we're very confused right now, right? In this era where women I can look up your fucking birth canal, but I can't touch. You know what I'm saying? Who are you? Where does your energy resonate when you're promoting that lifestyle? And when you come backstage, what message are you sending? Why the fuck are you back here? Right? That's just the mentality of men who have probably had some drinks. It's the end of the night, and now we're looking for a payoff. Now, that is not suggesting that you cannot come backstage. That's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying understanding the culture, and the rape culture is prominent. Now thought culture is prominent, and which is confusing, right? Thought has a culture now. Look on Instagram, right? That's all these young women are shaking their asses saying, book me. Come get some pussy if the price is right, right? And then there's the rape culture where, who do you think I am? Well, you got one titty out, you got your ass out, it's late at night, we all drunk and high. I don't think you're anybody. I just see a beautiful woman and I'm trying to get off. You see what I'm saying? Then there are those who are back there looking for a come up. Let's be clear. They looking for the right motherfucker to come up. Listen, they could have got Bill years ago if it was about just getting him on a rape case. They know what Bill is into.
Right.
They know what everybody's into. That's how they got Dr. King. Are you fucking kidding me? Following him around, figuring out what the fuck he's into, and now we got the goods on him. And it wasn't just J. Edgar Hoover, it was the mafia doing the same shit to all of them senators and governors.
Kennedy.
And Kennedy and all of that shit. And what they was finding out was, wait a minute, these niggas are not just having extramarital affairs, because you can beat that. You can go home and tell your wife, yeah, I'm sorry, I fucked up. It was like in Boys. They was finding out, oh, these fucking senators are nasty. They like men and little boys. That's where the incriminating extortion aspect came in, not just because you was with women, right? I can deal with that. My woman can deal with that. Nigga, we gonna go to therapy, whatever, we can get over that. But if you find out Black Dot's been fucking little boys, I can't explain that shit. So understanding they've been doing these psychoanalysis and filming you secretly for years. Now we do it to ourselves. All your Google inputs creates an algorithm or, you know, the analytics on who you are to determine if you are a threat or not and what type of op we can send your way to bring you down. So if Bill was just fucking these women willfully, let's just say he was just, you know, fucking them willfully. They could have easily got one in there who became an op. They did this shit to Mike Tyson. Say what the fuck you want to say. They definitely did the shit to Tupac. And that is not a disrespect on women. If we're going to have this conversation, we got to be totally honest about it on both parts, right? All women are not dots and all niggas is not savages, right? There are those on each extreme. So we have to understand this in its totality, right? There are women claiming shit that just bizarre shit, right? With that being said, this has got so many layers to this, so I want to kind of, the Kavanaugh case is going to be interesting too.
And the timing is crazy.
And the timing is crazy, right, of the Kavanaugh case. Because the Kavanaugh case is very similar fucking case. 30 years ago. No evidence, nothing. It's just women coming forward to say, yo, didn't do it, didn't happen. Or him saying it didn't happen, and they saying it did happen, right? Which is reminiscent of the Anita Hill, Clarence Thomas case, and so forth. So why is Bill guilty from something that had no physical, forensic, don't tell me she is a reliable fucking, are you kidding me? So this is deeper than that. This is America's dad. Can we agree on that? He was known as America's dad. So they're taking down the father. Our father without in heaven and all that old kind of shit, right? Because he resided over a different world, pun intended. You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand there's a world going on above our world. We only get bits and pieces of the residue of how deep this shit really is. And image is extremely important, right? That's why Bill gave you the Cosby Show, because he knew he can create an avatar, right? This avatar, I'm going to put in place, I'm going to put it in the psyche of the people. I'm going to give you a different world. And he named it A Different World, so the world you living in, the hood, the ghetto, all of the impoverishment you're going through, let me give you a different world. And the enrollment in HBCUs went through the roof. And then he funded the fucking HBCUs so that you can afford to go to school through fucking scholarships. This shit is deep. This shit is fucking deep. And his avatar is important because it's the prelude to the social media where we all now have avatars. My avatar is a Black Dot. My name is Dwayne Bowser. You see what I'm saying? So you understand the importance of it, right? And how him attempting to buy NBC was the most bravest shit ever done since Ali not going to fucking war. I'm going to say that again because his attempt to buy NBC was the bravest, most revolutionary shit since Ali refused to fight in the white man's war. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you own a television station, you own a fucking universe. I'm going to say that again. You own a universe where you can shape and create minds and steer people. And they knew this. So wait a minute. Hold on. This supposedly house nigga, right? Because we view Bill as a house nigga, right? This house nigga may not be a house nigga after all. This nigga trying to own a station to control image. The CIA or the FBI, one or two, I read it a long time ago, said the greatest weapon ever created was the fucking television. Because now these people are in your home, shaping identity, shaping thought, shaping opinion, right? And now fucking television is 24 hours. I grew up, TV went off. That shit, 1 a.m, that shit was fizzy, black. You know, now the shit is 24 hours. So now they have created television that's 24 hours that never stops and multiple channels. When I go up, we had 2, 4, 7, 11, 13, and 21 or something. You know what I mean? And on channel 2, you knew it was time to go to bed because that motherfucker with 6 fingers, Thriller. Those who are old 40 and 50 know what I'm talking about, would come out and you go, oh shit, you put your head under the cover and go to fucking sleep. Right? Now the shit is 24 hours and it's partitioned off based on your psychology and what you into. Home improvement, we got some shit for you. Sports, we got some shit for you. Are you into crime stories? We got some shit for you. And then that's how you get partitioned off and all the advertisement is geared toward that. See, we got to get out of this shit thinking radio is there to play hot fucking rap songs and shit. It is not. They're selling you some shit all the time based on demographics. All right? So that's why when you fighting, pleading for the radio station to show equality in the songs you playing, you out your fucking mind. You have no idea what this is about. This ain't got shit to do with the song. They just playing that shit. It's multi-layered. The Jews run that shit. They playing that shit for agenda and they getting their money. Okay? So let's be clear. Bill tried the unfucking thinkable. You know what? I'm gonna buy a whole fucking station. See, they can let Jordan buy a sports team, right? Mm-hmm. The Charlotte Hornets, whatever the fuck that name that team. Yeah, the Bobcats, the motherfuckers, or the Hornets, right? Because that shit is not that high up on the scale, right? It's still some money being made by him. They're not worried about the money. They can come get that whenever they're ready, and they will. They've been doing it. Name me one black icon who hasn't fallen on the sword. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there's 1 or 2. Somebody in the chat room will let me know. But they all go down. Prince, Michael Jackson, all of them go down. Sammy Davis Jr., Sam Cooke, Ray, they all go down because their avatar is created in a world that really has nothing to do with me and you. Right? And we also suffer from Stockholm Syndrome and cognitive dissonance when it comes to our icons. Yeah. Right? I thought Blue said it best when he said we wasn't rooting for OJ, right? We were rooting for black people. But OJ is connected to that. Jackie Robinson wasn't playing baseball just for him. He was playing baseball for all of us. So we are all connected. That's just how I am because we are. That's how we generally get down. You know what I mean? So from the brother's standpoint, they're saying, damn, I just want some justice. I seen the fucking cop shoot the kid in the back of the head and then go into court and win the fucking case. How is this possible? We don't get no justice in this fucking country. OJ was an asterisk, so to speak. That's why we felt the way we felt about it, right? So now you're seeing Bill Cosby go through the same shit. If it's supposed to be based on a court of law, and most people in this country don't read, that's the problem. They're basing, this is why I said you got to remove your emotion. Emotionally, yeah, we all charged. When I saw Bill come out in fucking handcuffs, I was emotional about that shit because of the iconic figure that he was and is and some of the things he's done. Now, I'm always telling you as well, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and that human experience could be filled with a lot of shit that we are not proud of. All right? But he is not the only one in this particular situation. So why are they going after Bill? I think symbolically, he is, like I said, America's dad. You know what I'm saying? So we have the Me Too movement coming up. And I want to say this about the Me Too movement, the face of the Me Too movement, literally. The black lady who started the Me Too movement, have you looked in her face?
Yeah.
You see all the craters in her face? Okay, that is a byproduct, and I'm not wilding on her. She's a sister, and of her not being able to face what she was dealt. You know what I mean? So your face, our ancestors had a way of using the anatomy to discern what was wrong with you, right? So if you got arthritis in your hands, maybe you can't grasp certain aspects of reality. If your feet hurt, maybe you have a problem stepping forward in life. If you have a bad kidney, that's dealing with fear. A bad liver, that's dealing with anger. Heart issues, maybe you were dealt lack of love. Cancer are things that are eating at you. Throat problems, you have an ability to speak truth. Our ancestors really just used everything about us to tell us about us. Dr. Layla Africa just condensed it to your face where he can look in your face and tell you everything that's wrong with you, right? So, and I only say that to say, they're using her. They got behind her. They dug her up, basically, right? And now she is the face, and her face speaks of pain. It speaks of sorrow. It speaks of hurt. It speaks of trauma, literally. You know what I mean? And now the Me Too movement, they're using that shit to circumvent actual law. And we got to be very careful because I'm looking through this Bill Cosby case, and I'm like, back to the case, the shit was supposed to be sealed and done.
Right.
How the fuck a new DA come on the scene, Steele, what was his name? Kevin Steele, reopen the shit based on his political, you know what I mean? He's campaigning, I'm going to reopen that case. Reopen the shit. It's a mistrial. And after they reopen the shit, it's a mistrial. Okay? And then they retry the shit again. Like, how many fucking times are they gonna retry this until they get the results they want? And
so, what you didn't really mention was you mentioned the television, but internet.
Oh, right. I was just talking about during that time and period of time of what Bill was trying to do. The internet is a whole nother can of worms, which they use to circumvent the shit he was doing on TV. Yeah. Right? So they can travel back and forth and kill. They can kill like in Terminator, they can go kill the young you. Mm-hmm. You could do a whole bunch of great work, right? And if 2 generations later who didn't grow up on Bill, the only image they have of Bill is this shit going out in handcuffs, they just kill Bill. Mm-hmm. They just fucking killed Bill from 1984, the most powerful man in fucking Hollywood. That's the way that shit works. I felt Flavor Flav did the same shit, the Public Enemy. For that whole generation who only watched this nigga on Flavor of Love looking like a fucking clown with a big ass clock on and just dismissed 30 years of work before by Public Enemy. You understand my point? Psychologically and metaphysically, maybe not in the physical sense. Right. But remember, there's a whole nother war and world going on above us where I told you, and I'm gonna say it again, they don't have to control millions. They can control one who has control over millions. So imagine a board with only 100 pieces on it. Who controls our media? All right. On the surface, it looks like it's 30 different medias. It's really only 2 motherfuckers. And, you know, split off. Send the message down what we try. How many times have you seen them YouTube clips where the newscasters are all going off the same script? Verbatim. How's that even humanly possible? Right? Because that's an agenda. They have found ways to take the internet now, you know what I'm saying, which is in everybody's hands and everybody's got a cell phone. Even poor people got cell phones, right? So now this is a tool that should enhance our knowledge of things to read a deposition, read the case. We don't do that. We're just following, what's on people's timeline. And they can flood the timeline or not flood the timeline. I don't know how many shell avatars and people who are out there. Now, these ain't real fucking people. This is Facebook or Twitter or Instagram flooding, you know what I'm saying, a particular narrative on people's timeline and affecting people's thoughts because people are not thinking anymore. Right? This shit is a lost art. I think we've already established that. Yeah. So we have to be careful with how this works. So when you own your own YouTube channel, you don't own a universe. You own like a little planet. You know what I'm saying? Where people can come visit and get some truth or get some goofy shit, whatever it is your channel is about. Bill was trying to own a universe, which would have led to, social media and all this other shit. He was trying to control reality or a portion of it because, like we already said, there's only 2 or 3 fucking people who own all of that shit and flood our narrative. If you don't believe in that, you got to turn this channel off because this channel ain't for you. If you think... So Bill got convicted on public opinion, not on the facts of the case. It's impossible for you to tell me there wasn't a shadow of a doubt in this one specific case. I'm not speaking about... And let's also remember, 15 of the women, at least 15, maybe more, I stopped counting, were immediately dismissed. They were just on a money train, right? So now you had all these women running out of court trying to cater to what? Your emotions, crying, of some shit that happened 30 years ago. Now, with that being said, I'm all over the place. Please forgive me. I'm just trying to get what's out of my head out of here. I don't want to be here all day dealing with this, but I felt it was important for Urban X to put something out there. Men in position of power can persuade you to do things you normally wouldn't do, right? You meet your hero, and you, male or female, and your common sense, for those who into idol worship, not people who stand on their own square, let me get some water, and do their own thing, but people who are affected by that, yeah, so Bill could get you to take some pills or get you to bend over, or all that shit is easy shit to do. C-list rappers can do that shit. So, as we move on, as we talk about the NBC conspiracy, that's what that really all is about. And I believe they sent him a message and killed his son. All right? That's the conspiracy aspect, to let this nigga know this is not a game. You know what I mean? You house nigga. And we got a lot of shit on you from way back. I Spy and all that kind of shit. And this boule shit you probably involved with. Side note, a lot of our people are angry at Bill because he told the truth about us. Okay? A lot of that shit where he was touring around and they said he was talking down to the black community, that's all a matter of perspective. If I came and said the same exact things, nigga, pull your pants up. Goddamn, you niggas need to go to school. You niggas need to read a fucking book. Oh, yeah, well, that's the way it goes. But because Bill said it, and he's from a different level of economics and things of this nature, we looked at it as somebody not a part of us talking down to us. Okay. You know what I mean? So that's how that shit works. Michael Bloomberg, the mayor of New York, tried to do something similar. He tried to stop us here in New York from buying, he tried to mandate the ounces of drinks you could buy. Right? It's like, this 64 ounces of fucking juice. Yeah, soda and shit. And we got offended. Right. Fat niggas was in the movie theater with Slurpees and shit, triple size. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. And I get what you're saying, but he was trying to reduce the obesity rate when we're dealing with truth, right? Yes. So truth has to be what it is. But because Bill said it, and Bill is worth $1 billion or 300, 400 million, which he won't be in a few unless he wins his appeal case, because he said it, we felt different about it. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Right? That's like you telling some chick she shouldn't be out here stripping. She should get her life together. Right? If I said that to her, fuck you, nigga. Who the fuck you think you are? But if another one of her stripper friends said the same shit, like, damn, girl, we need to we need to get our life together, she receives that information different. Oh, that's my maybe I will listen to her. So how information is disseminated, but if it's truth, it should stand on truth. So, and that's my point. Now, I don't agree with everything Bill said. Don't get me wrong. But some of the general shit he said, I thought was true. Nigga, pull your fucking pants up. Go read something. Go do something. And he gave his money to black colleges. So when you give your money to black colleges, it says to me, you're saying, I'm trying to help those who help themselves. Right? So LeBron James built schools and said, if you make it through this level, I will pay for your further education. But you got to make it through this level on your own. Right? Very similar process. Right? Now, with that being said, too, a lot of men try to wash their karma by giving money away. Not just Bill. A lot of men give away money because of all the savage shit they do along the way that nobody talks about. So I'm privy to all of that. That's why I said this is going to be multi-layered in how we deal with it, right? So I'm not saying that Bill didn't violate. I told you I thought he was guilty of something, just not that case. Not that specific case that took him down. They broke every fucking law. Constitutionally. Yeah. Are you kidding me? So please, we already know that the Constitution and all that shit is not for us. We already know that the priests are not going to jail because that's their way of life. All right? So you just got to accept that. There are certain aspects of things that are going on. So when we speak about, for those who may say, well, why don't, these women, why would that same woman, just looking at it from fairly, keep going back to Bill and, all these phone calls and use Bill for reference for work? A lot of these abusive women go through a lot of psychological shit. You know what I mean? And it's Stockholm syndrome. And we like to say shit, well, why don't you just leave? Sometimes it's not that easy when you have low self-esteem. You know what I mean? Or this guy's whipping your ass, but paying your bills. And a lot of women feel that they cannot do better. And they begin to grow up thinking that that's the way that they are supposed to be treated. And it doesn't matter if you're an adult or a child. I want to be clear on that too. You know what I mean? Right. If anybody can capture your mind, because a lot of adults are walking around with 12-year-old minds. Can we agree? Yeah. So we can't look on the surface and say your age is the reason this happened. And those who say that these women, they wanted that shit. You got to be clear when we say stuff like that. That stuff is violating. You know what I mean? And I am a father of a daughter who's just doing my best for her to understand what her value is, right? And we had codes, I told you. When you guys went away to camp, if I saw that line or you wrote, how was this or what was that? I know that's a code that I need to get out here. You know what I mean? Because something ain't right. I didn't let my children spend a night at a lot of people's houses because this is a epidemic situation in our hood. Everybody got an old dirty man in their family. And the Bill Cosby family, Huxtable, he was the dirty old man. Okay? So let's be clear on how all of this stuff plays out. And it's not just men violating women. It's women violating other women. All right? I'm going to say that again. A lot of women violate a lot of other women and a lot of little boys, the babysitter and this and that. So this is something that's not just men against women. Don't turn this into a feminine thing where, you know what I mean? And then if you pick, and I heard Blue speak about, should you pick your gender over your race?
That's a big discussion.
That was a big thing because just in the election with Trump, we saw the opposite. Right. We saw them white women go, nah, we picking race. We going with Trump. We not going with Hillary. You see what I'm saying? But we, in our hood, we have to deal with it because we have a lot of gender wars going on now. You are not my equal, sister. You are the part of me that's fucking missing. And I'm the part of you that's missing. And if that makes us equal, fine. But I understand we represent two different dynamics. A male and female, a yin, a yang, a positive, a negative, a feminine, a masculine aspect. And it's not always on equal terms. Can my lady pop the hood on the trunk and change the oil? Yeah. Doesn't mean I want her to do that. And vice versa. You understand my point? So our issues run deep. And this trial right here is the most scrutinized trial ever based on constitutional injustices. Right? Because Johnny Cochran said if it don't fit, you must acquit. And he got OJ off, even though I think OJ did that shit. You gotta prove that shit in a court of law. And if we're gonna say, well, he's probably guilty of something, well, shit, they're all probably guilty of something. Even the judge residing over the fucking case, right? So we can't start throwing this broad umbrella out, because I've always said if a nigga broke into my car and I caught him, he's gonna get the ass whipping of his life for every nigga who ever broke into my car in the history of breaking into cars, right? Because that's just how my mindset is. You're going to get it for everybody. We can't begin to do that and say, Bill is getting this shit for everybody, every man who ever. So you got to be careful with these little agendas, these movements that people are creating, because now we have our black women lining up against our black men. And it's really just a matter of perspective. We are all traumatized, all of us. And we're all dealing with rape, injustice, discrimination, you name it. We are the people who are dealing with it, right? So don't create this movement and join up with a whole bunch of white women, right? Because their agenda is different. Because remember, they're number 3 on the totem list in their society. I don't care what nobody tell me. It's the man, it's the fucking boys they like to fuck with, then it's the woman. And, they latched on us, and now we all women together fighting against men. That's not fair to men. Just like all women are not thoughts. That's not fair to women who value themselves and respect themselves and hold themselves in high esteem. It's just not fair. So we got to be clear that we don't be going against each other, and we try to find, a way to fight for each other and fight through this and recognize that we're all victims. And side note, I don't think Bill is going to be the only one to fall. You start at the head. He's the America's dad, and then you begin to chomp down. I do think Harvey Weinstein and all of them eventually will fall. But is the patriarch aspect of our society falling at the same time? Is this just bringing down men? You know what I'm saying? What about the young lady who got caught abusing the man? Right. Oh, that's just one incident, as they're saying. So we have to be careful of what this represents symbolically, metaphysically, from an occult realm of those who know how to move pieces on a board to create an agenda that's in their favor. We have to be very careful when we start looking at it from that perspective. And in order to do so, we can't be so emotional and I'm going to take a side. I want to be on the side of truth as much as possible. You know what I mean? Right. So anything you had to say?
Do you think, where do you think it goes from here, though?
Well, he'll get an appeal. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see where that goes. Because now these women are going to line up for their money. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be coming next. So I think it's a sign of the times that we live in, where now public opinion can overrule the court of laws. Yeah. You know what I mean? And overrule, why the law was in place to make sure that we never get to a situation. And I know that sounds funny, a black man talking about law in this country, because it never favors us. And that's not some victim consciousness shit. That's just the facts. Yeah. So if you thought Bill was going to get a fair trial, based on, just the trial itself, you out of your mind. We are now demonstrating just how deep this rabbit hole goes, what Bill represented, what he tried to do, what he on the low. You know what I'm saying? Even Little Bill for your kids, and the Fat Albert, and the money he gave away in the Cosby Show. I'm not even sure if he was involved with Living Single. I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
He may have been involved with that show too. I'm not really sure. But what he attempted to do by understanding the way sorcery works in this country and image works in this country, and the avatars, permeate our thinking in this country by him trying to buy his own universe, You know what I mean? Where, you know, perhaps he would have been the god of that universe. You know what I'm saying? It's very key. So I'm curious to see where this is going to go. You know what I'm saying? And the elephant in the room is, like we spoke about, thotness is a new culture. It is. You know what I mean? Yeah. So nobody is speaking about that. Amber Rose? Amber Alert. This is a fucking Amber Alert. Really? Are you serious? She, out of all people, is going to come out, but she does represent the thinking of a lot of women.
Yeah.
You know, based on the way they have been traumatized by some nigga in the club. Mm-hmm. Some nigga who, after he tore that shit down, what you doing? You get the fuck up out. You know what I mean? There's so many layers. So that hurt is being manifested because everyone has a voice now who has a Twitter account.
So what do you think about, I feel like the language being used, meaning everything is sexual assault, everything is rape now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter what it is because they were saying Bill raped 50 women, but even those 50 women that were there, right, say the ones that got dismissed, even what they were describing
wasn't rape.
Well, to me, I didn't understand that as rape.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't raped.
So what do you feel about that going forward?
Again, that's a part of an agenda. You know what I'm saying? The Me Too movement. And for those, remember this. You can join an organization. So I'm not knocking those who are part of the Me Too movement. You can join an organization with great intentions. I don't join any organizations. I don't work well with others. Why? Because organizations start out with great intentions. And then the agendas kick in of what this organization is really about. And that's usually that detached part of the pyramid, so to speak, with those at the top who are actually making the decisions and steering the organization where they want it for political gain, monetary gain, repositioning of power in this country, the fall of the man, the rise of the woman, which is some bizarre shit. When I see Arset and Arset, you know what I'm saying? I see Asar and Arset. I see the ascension of us as a collective. You know what I'm saying? I don't see one above the other or this and that, but we living in Rome. And Rome, the rules are different. So we're operating in a different mindset. So agenda is important. The people at the bottom of the pyramid don't know what the fuck is going on. Right. They don't really care. They just feel that they're doing their part and that's right. We should all get together and band together and shit. Then we love each other so much we might even suck each other's pussies. And that's how that shit starts. And we being honest. Right. You know what I'm saying? Just being a buck with that shit. So we have to be clear about agenda and be able to recognize agenda for what it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? So Bill this was not about rape in any shape, form, or fashion. This was about bringing down an iconic figure. Another iconic black figure bites the fucking dust. Right? Yeah. Michael Jackson was gonna buy fucking Sony, wasn't he? Yeah. He already owned the Beatles catalog, which was a violation on their part, Elvis's catalog, and a whole bunch of other shit. But when he decided, wait, you're gonna buy Sony? Fuck's going on here? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, and a lot of times, like Michael Jackson paid that young boy off. He never touched that young boy. That young boy came out and admitted he never touched it. Mike just wanted that shit to go away. Yeah. Right? Because I don't want my name, my image being tarnished by this shit, right? Bill probably just wanted that shit to go away.
I can see that.
You know what I'm saying? He wanted that shit to go away. Here's a few dollars. This shit ain't no money to me. You know what I'm saying? Just take this money, but let's seal this shit so we can move past this shit. And then they unseal the sealed shit and then have a mistrial.
Well, you're seeing that now more. Well, like NDAs have no weight anymore. People sign NDAs and break them.
Right.
You know, the Stormy Daniels Trump thing.
Absolutely.
So it's like, and then going even to Trump, like he's showing that the law and what we understand as the law doesn't really matter. He does whatever he wants.
Because there is two sets of laws. There's the common law for your ass, right, and then there's those of us who operate above that law.
Right.
Right? But we have to pretend we're all equal in this country. We was all equal in this country. Stop the bullshit. Right? Wouldn't we be in a better condition, a better situation if we were all equal and we was based on our merits and our ability to prove that we can do this job or elevate here? So this is not ever based on merit in this country. All right? So let's be clear with that. I wanted to spend some time giving my opinion on that. Bill is not guilty of this particular situation. It's almost impossible. If you say he is, then you are delusional. But if you also feel that Bill didn't fuck some women he wasn't supposed to fuck, probably forcibly, or giving some chicks some Spanish fly, which he admitted to, you are also delusional. But that was the culture. When in Rome, you do as the Romans do. And he was in Rome. He sat at a high table in Rome as one of the comedians, and then you got to speak about the dynamics of a comedian. Comedian's job is to mix truth in with bullshit, and our comedians were the ones who gave you political shit, as Blue Pill so eloquently broke down in his piece about the gesture. You know what I'm saying? You can even make fun of the king when you the jester, you know what I'm saying, because it's all in fun, but built into that is some truth. I'm trying to give you some leeway on how we do our show at Urban X. Don't ever get me fucked up thinking I'm some kind of clown. If you do, you playing yourself. But I understand how this works. So I'm sitting here in gesture, providing you with some shit that you need to study. And I'm protecting my son who just wants to do his real journalist shit. So don't ever get it fucked up what we doing here. And I ain't giving no secrets away, because there are no secrets. Those who have eyes and ears to see know exactly what the fuck is going on. You know what I mean? So let's be clear. Let's not be delusional. Have your moments, because I had my emotional moments when I saw Bill in handcuffs, when I started thinking about women who were taken advantage of, a very powerful figure in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? In perspective. My secret weapon is always perspective. So me and my wife had a very deep, in-depth conversation from a male's perspective and a woman's perspective on how this shit worked. And I listened, because that's what I do. Then I had my reflection time. Even the judge who sat on this case by Bill Cosby, his wife is a sexual assault counselor. Mm-hmm. So you can't tell me that that didn't also sway into his decisions on how he decided to get things done. So if we're saying Bill violated women, yeah, he probably did. If we're saying Bill is guilty of this shit, I don't see it. 30 years ago with no evidence and just word of mouth of what shit, I wish somebody would come forward after some shit we done did 30 years ago in the fucking hallway, or, you know what I mean, wilding out, drinking fucking Night Train and 40 ounces, making Boilermakers, and we wilding as kids and shit. Come forward and say you did not agree with that shit. You understand my point? Right. So the Kavanaugh case, I don't know if the verdict is in yet, is going to be critical to watch, because it's almost an identical case, right? He's a powerful man. He's trying to sit on the highest court ever, and women from 20, 30 years ago are coming forth saying he violated me. If he gets, watch this shit, if he gets anointed the highest court, he's in and Cosby's out for the same basic shit. That goes to show you, and it's in Libra season, right? Which is the scales of justice. So we see that there is no justice. None of that shit's by accident. All of this shit lays out above us, but for those who can peek in, because remember, most of us just trying to peek in to see and bring that shit back down to our people and make sense of, dude, don't just accept this fucking story you hearing. We gotta get together. We gotta think our way through this shit. And that's all I'm asking our brothers and sisters to do, is do a little thinking. Do some reading before you base all your shit. Don't be dumb with a smartphone, as Chuck D would say. Basing all your shit off the shit you seeing off a timeline, then reality itself now can be manipulated in any which way they see. They have found the perfect apparatus. Right? Give you some shit and control you through that very shit they gave you, called the TV, social media, internet, all of this shit, and use these avatars that they have helped to create to live out some shit that permeates down to the common folk who are fucking fooled by what they see. And with that said, this is the Black Dot. These are my chronicles. This is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Peace.
Peace. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Urban X TV.
All of that.
Peace.
Peace.
Operation Rapper Inquisition, moving through the fakeness, hip-hop matrix vision. Back again in these bars, this is my prison. Walls of these pages with pen shanks I'm scribbling. No visits, lines on paper, concrete walls. My margin is my showers and my washroom stalls. End of the page is when I make parole. Force me to execute rappers, then throw me in the hole. So much soul, the MC, not confined. The elements of hip-hop today are not combined. Almost seeing the other side, gotta stay focused. Just gotta let that phone ring and don't lose focus. They can't try to hocus pocus. Send rapping jokers with handbags, Gucci purses and chokers. Jeans, wrestler, spandex type. Turning youths to robots if you drink a Sprite. That's not what I say, that's what they do. Use rappers to sell you sneakers and Mountain Dew. Flowing like a fountain dew. When you turn the lever, setting the bar for conscious MCs and rapping believers. Trapped with me in these bars, rappers begging for seizures. Hanging rappers with the strongest lines, squirm like leeches. Sentenced to the underground, no one hears their screams. Left right after the math for these black and yellow dreams. What happened to the MCs? Ask yourself. What happened to the DJ? Ask yourself. What happened to the grapher? Ask yourself. What happened to the dancer? Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself.
Check it. Let's open the book of hip-hop and make advances. My supreme knowledge of alchemical sciences only enhances my ability to drop metaphysical answers. When asked about the MC, the DJ, the grapher, the dancers, earth, air, fire, water, all being born to hip-hop. Study hard, you get that. Forget rap, cause it's not. The transformation from lead to gold, from man to God, can be achieved through hip-hop. It's art, the planet's ours. The colors and tones and archetypes will spark the light. Give your third eye a bird's eye, restore the loss of sight. You already lost the fight whenever I come across the mic, because you're dealing with God and you can never exhaust the light. We making a shift from hip hop to God hop. It's the return of the ancient ones and we coming non-stop. So when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I'm here, straight from the boogie down, so have no fear.
What happened to the MCs? Ask yourself. What happened to the DJ? Ask yourself. What happened to the grapher? Ask yourself. What happened to the dancer? Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself. It's only in the underground, unseen but heard. Oracles, words, and metaphoric slurs. Riding on the soothe the savage beat tones. Paparazzi taking pictures, talking on the phone. Pictures tell 1,000 words. Bus drivers on camera, reading or sleeping while driving on camera. He might even be hammered. It's not even lunch yet. Didn't have breakfast, clock not even punch yet. Send that to the news and post on YouTube. Hits some people get are in the thousands, not few. Charge $1, make $1 million. Set up a website and PayPal, make a killing. Right psych, that's all just hype. I'm on the streets bringing youths from darkness to light. I'm in their courts, not playing ball but schooling them crossover thoughts. It's not training camp like October sports. Season's been started. Sam's goons shoot shadow targets. Got them thinking it's the shoes when they're the market. Got them thinking it's the booze and blunts you smoke. Got them thinking magazine monthly hip-hop quotes have the best lines. They can't test time. Rappers gets awards for MC best albums and best rhymes. I was the brush carrier with fades and waves. Didn't know that hairstyle was from the ancient days. Me doing the work work for the Amazon matriarchal. Rapping hip-hop today is so patriarchal. Female MCs on the mic are probably no 6. The game is like church and demigods, no woman on pulpits. We have to say what we must, sow some seeds, so we can grow strong trees with the bedsheet leaves. Deadbeat seas, most navigate with flows. I flow on papyrus beat boats as I write these scrolls, bringing back the hip-hop's constitutional fold. Even mics can't escape, catch a bruise when I hold. My paper trails leave them, soothe when I owe. Apply more science, never get booed when I flow. Cushion peng, not the cush when you see I blow. Flow for right years when my 3 eyes glow. And head and rapper inquisition, pen mighty and the swords not even on ink we missing. What happened to the MCs? Ask yourself. What happened to the DJ? Ask yourself. What happened to the grapher? Ask yourself. What happened to the dancer? Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself.
If you can't tell who it is that we be, it's the ALMOROC, stepping up in the place ambassadorially. 2 on the right, in the middle is me. Got 5 on the left, to the ground is 3. Those who have the eyes can clearly see that
What?
it's the Moors for sure, and you
Can't
touch the shores unless you
down.
do a treaty with us, and we entreat that you trust and respect our boundaries and our legacies. Can't get the best of me with the strongest mental telepathy. Phone book, fiat, fantasy, or recipes. Wisdom and supreme mathematics is protecting me.
Five on the left, 2 on the right. S on my chest, about to take flight. Signal of distress, something don't seem right. I'm trying to find a phone booth, but none in sight. Trying to get the whole truth, but it's a fight. Drew Ali told you, but still despite, renew the old you. You'll be alright, you'll be alright, you'll be alright.
I get knowledge, knowledge I got. My mind spray a lot for my alma rock. Lyrics cryptic, I'm Moroccan mystic. Use rhymes at times, enlighten the dimwit. When I'm Moroccans flow, you drown trying to swim with. Hang rappers by laces, they tie their Timbs with. This ain't that fruity rap, we catch him in booby traps, coughing up a lung cause my fam got hung.
5 on the left, 2 on the right. S on my chest, about to take flight. Signal of distress, something don't seem right. I'm trying to find a phone booth, but none in sight. Trying to get the whole truth, but it's a fight. Drew Ali told you, but still despite, renew the old you. You'll be alright, you'll be alright, you'll be alright.
We are the ancient, returned on mics and beats, on ancestral realms and streets. Words sound power, shower, watering minds with jade lines and amethyst rhymes. Tiger eyes glow, scimitar showing crystal reflections for added protections. 5 on the left, 2 on the right, lyrical bread and fish fed through the mic.
I tip your scales with vibrational levels. With this man, sever your tempo. Moving, living backwards, spamming in pebbles. People trying to survive, call us criminals. Why did my first die, surrounded by devils? Wanna try and infiltrate inside my mentals, but ministry of propaganda and these scandals. Be the fucking rascal, camouflage charcoal, heavy rotisserie, heavy arsenal.
5 on the left, 2 on the right. S on my chest, about to take flight. Signal of distress, something don't seem right. I'm trying to find a phone booth, but none in sight. Trying to get the whole truth, but it's a fight. Drew Ali told you, but still despite, renew the old you. You'll be alright, you'll be alright, you'll be alright.
Check it. Knew from the first day that I met her. Thirsty in the worst way, wanted to get her. Open like a ladder, I'm open, not to stress her. No pressure, but I wanna lay her out like a stretcher. Knew she couldn't handle 16, so I hit her with 8 first to give her a taste first. Cat and mouse game, yeah, she gave up the chase first. So I booked the room and I laid her down face first. She liked the kinky, so I spit on her. Wanted to keep it to myself, she wanted other dudes to get on her. I tried my best to put a hit on her, but she fell in love with crap rap. All they do is shit on her. Thought I knew her well, some but wait a second. Knew her well before she ever even made a record. She's a thought now, so I gotta pay to check it. But I'm still digging mommy like a crate of records.
5 on the left, 2 on the right. S on my chest, about to take flight. Signal of distress, something don't seem right. I'm trying to find a phone booth, but none in sight. Trying to get the whole truth, but it's a fight. Drew Ali told you, but still despite, renew the old you. You'll be alright, you'll be alright, you'll be alright.